On the 1st of March, retro video gamers rejoiced as the ultimate retro gaming console that boasted to play every single game from the 70s to the noughties was put up on Kickstarter. And it was nothing more than a wooden suitcase with a Raspberry Pi inside and a couple of 8-bit DOE controllers slapped on top. Who would have guessed, right? The campaign was obviously a massive failure, and the content creator was obviously so embarrassed by this hardcore piracy that he completely deleted whatever he could of the page, including the video and his own account. But obviously he forgot to do it over on Facebook. Thanks for the footage. In an extremely interesting update of an old Kick Scammers based on the DRAGONFLY FUTUREFON, there'll be a link above if you haven't seen that one already, and I highly suggest you do. The video ended with me saying that the main guy, or scammer if you will, behind it, named Jeff Batio, had been found guilty and was going to be sentenced. Well, I said I'd give you guys an update on this, and here I am doing so. And boy, is it fitting to his character. So to start off, I will tell you that his expected sentencing date was September 4th, 2019. He is believed to get anywhere up to 20 years for what he did, and in an update on the FutureFone subreddit on March 3rd, it has showcased that the date had been postponed from September 4th to October 17th, 2019, then December 5th, 2019, then January 9th the next year, May the 7th, 2020, and now June the 11th, 2020. Why is he constantly pushing back that date? Well, in the eyes of the law, even though he is guilty, he's technically on bail, which means he's already serving time. So, for example, if this guy ends up getting a 5-year sentence, if this hearing does go ahead in June, he's already served 10 months of that sentence, meaning that he will only be in the slammer if he behaves himself for a couple of years at most. And who else out there reckons that this guy is going to find yet another way to postpone that hearing? Yes guys, welcome to Kick Scammer News for the month of March and April of 2020. I've decided to put both of the months together primarily because all of the craziest Kickstarter stories out there are all based on that thing that's happening in the world right now. You know, that pandemic that I still can't talk about on my channel. It's absolutely ridiculous. Patreons and YouTube members will know that I've actually done a video entirely based on it, which, you know, obviously can't go public. But it's all good. It's all good because I have managed to find plenty of crazy stories throughout the month of March and April to make one incredibly solid episode. There's been a couple of ups, but there has been an insane amount of downs on websites such as Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and, well, not GoFundMe this month. I'm staying away because of, like I said, all of the stuff that's going on. Anyway, let's get on with it right after this. Are you bored, stuck at home, wondering what to do with yourself? Well, here's a suggestion. Maybe now is the time for you to start your YouTube gaming channel. And today's sponsor is going to help you do just that. Filmora 9. Yeah! Filmora 9 is designed for beginners and it's super easy to use. I get people asking me how I learned to edit the way I do, and honestly, if you are a beginner, Filmora 9 is without a doubt going to be the easiest to get to grips with for anybody starting with a gaming YouTube channel, and thanks to me, it's free to try. Link below. Import your clips, add split screens, elements, effects, transitions, titles. Seriously, the amount of free to use preset effects on offer is pretty damn impressive. I especially like the animated transitions that literally get dragged down between two clips, drop it in, and boom, you're done. And like I said, I'm using these transitions in this very video, so keep an eye out. On top of all of this, one of the best features I discovered whilst browsing around the software is the hardcore simplicity of recording soundovers. Your webcam with instant green screen removal, if that's your thing, and the ability to capture high quality gameplay literally at the push of a button. Normally this takes several pieces of software to do all of this, which is why this is perfect for people starting out. It's all here. Plus, if you are looking for some more cool audio, image, footage and After Effects, you can go to Filmora 9's online stock library, Film Stocks, to download all of the assets that you want. Many thanks for hearing me out. Keep an eye on the transitions used in this video, like I said, and if you do click the link down below in the description, you will also be helping the show too. Thanks Filmora 9 for supporting the show. On March the 18th, I think. It was hard to nail down the exact date, but from what I can see, it was roughly around March the 18th. The terrible alternative to YouTube that we've brought up before, MEVUE, suddenly decided to wipe everything on their website and turn into a sort of Skillshare alternative. So for those that don't remember, this is a website that was for creators by creators. You know, the ultimate alternative to go against the corporate heavy YouTube platform. It was being run by a very shady individual who did nothing but tutorial videos, and like I said, the whole thing's been wiped now and it's turned into this Skillshare alternative, and that main guy is the person putting forward all of these courses. Look, I've got no issue with people selling courses that help educate people on particular subjects, and like I said in the past, I've actually signed up to places like Skillshare myself to get a better understanding on things such as social media. But this guy seems to know everything apparently, and in my experience, that means that he probably doesn't know much at all. Regardless, that's not the bad part of this story. In fact, I am thinking on covering this whole thing in its own video possibly in the future. Let me know down below if you would want to see that, as this did start off as a terribly run Kickstarter to begin with, which heavily failed, but he still went ahead with it. What he did was actually build up an awesome, although sadly brainwashed type of community of small content creators all looking out for each other and helping him on his service to grow. That was until one day, like I said, around March 18th, where he simply thought, nah, we ain't doing that no more. Fuck the content creators, I'm doing my own thing. Which does show him off as the scumbag that he truly is. Again, a full video on this may be in the works, and please do let me know if you're interested. It wouldn't be a month on Kickscammer News without me bringing up the stylized wood grain turd that is the ATARI VCS. I say it every month, and this is no different. Yes, a video is coming about this whole thing when it eventually comes to an end. But as for updates right now, on the 2nd of April, it was reported that Rob Set, who made one of the only good things about this system, its design, actually sued Atari for failing to pay him for doing so. Tin Giant is his company's name, and he claims that Atari owe him $261,720. He also stated that Atari had falsely claimed that his company had delayed the console project and had failed to complete its scope of services under the agreement. His response to this was, in fact, it was Atari's own mismanagement of the console project that was the cause of or reason for the delayed launch. As if we needed that confirmed. The latest delays on all of this is now due to the current pandemic that the world is in, and to be fair, it's probably its best excuse. But I don't believe him, as this has been yet another hiccup in Atari's horrendous campaign. Oh well, at least we've got the recently mentioned Atari cryptocurrency casino to keep us going until then. Hey, seriously guys, they really do make it easy for us, don't they? Okay, so this one, isn't a scam, but it is still worth mentioning, as I'm sure it's going to split my audience right down the middle, as per usual. This fan-based TV show was created based on the world of Scooby-Doo. You actually only see Scooby himself once during the trailers as this supernatural-looking origin story of Mystery Inc., which is literally what it's called, is more based on Fred, Daphne, Velma and Shaggy, but obviously a very gritty, up-to-date version of those characters. It looks like they're trying to go for a TV show-based version of something like, I don't know, maybe like a Ghostbusters knockoff, but obviously using old Hanna-Barbera properties, obviously without permission. However, do they need to get permission? Because this is a fan project that they're giving away for free. Again, it's worth keeping an eye on if this is your thing. Will it get hit with a takedown? Honestly, these sort of things are so hit and miss, you just never know. Regardless, let's hope it does deliver for the backers' sake, that it's now funded, and that the campaign owners actually update the backers once in a while too, which currently they haven't done. Naughty, naughty. Sword of the Necromancer. That's one that's definitely worth checking out. It's a solid looking indie title, and if it's still going by the time that you see this video, like I said, go and check it out. It's a dungeon crawler action RPG with roguelike elements merging games such as Enter the Gungeon with A Link to the Past, which is quite the bold statement. Well, like I said, it looks good and it's smashing its campaign. However, On April the 13th, in an update from the owners, it was announced that an undisclosed €8,500 pledge was put onto the campaign by someone that didn't choose a pledge and did so via the guest option on Kickstarter. This was then followed up by another update that stated, as expected, our troll backer withdrew their pledge as soon as we talked about reaching the stretch goals. These sort of fake campaigns happen quite often, and as backers we never normally get to hear about them. But this time, this was a unique experience for a Kickstarter backer, as the people running the campaign actually came out and explained what had happened. This sort of game isn't exactly for me, but going to these lengths to update backers on everything is really top notch, so I say fair play. If the creators continue with this excellent transparency, then this is going to be a brilliant campaign to follow. Enchanted Portals, guys, is back. And it's not going to get funded. Oh, no. So for those that don't know, Enchanted Portals came out of nowhere several months ago, and it looks incredibly good, like really good. Super polished. Obviously it blew up mainly because it shares more than one slight resemblance to another game. It was talked about by every major channel you can think of, including little old me, and the vast majority of people were going down the plagiarism route. Is this game right, or is this game wrong? I personally am still in the same mindset of bad timing. There's no denying that this game was heavily, and I do mean heavily, inspired by Cuphead, which is easily one of my favourite games of all time. If this game came out 10 years after Cuphead and we hadn't heard of any Cuphead games since then there wouldn't be an issue whatsoever. But it didn't. Cuphead is still a current gen game, and this is hoping to become one too. They are literally the exact same type of game and the exact same style, which would be fine if there was a bit of distance between them, but there isn't. Regardless, I did back this title to the tune of £15, but as stated, the way it's going right now, it's not going to be hitting target. Nope. It was announced that the crowdfunding website FIG on the 17th of April became the go-to place if you guys wanted to order yourself an Intellivision AMICO. In fact, you can still go there and do that right now. Yep, want to slap down a $100 deposit to get yourself the new Intellivision AMICO? Then this is the place to do it. Personally, I've discussed this on my second channel already. I'm equal parts excited and cautious for this system, and considering it's getting nothing but exclusive titles, one of which is Earthworm Jim, well, you can sign me right up. Differencing opinions will be found here, and I totally welcome them down in the comment section. But regarding the website itself, in case you didn't know, FIG is a crowdfunding, mostly indie game based website which doesn't always have loads of campaigns on at once. But what is here is not only high quality, but very well looked after at a glance. Perhaps there is more to all of this, and to be fair, I haven't looked into it too much, but from what I can see, it's still quite an impressive looking crowdfunding site that was actually purchased for an undisclosed sum on the same day by a similar platform known as Republic that's a tad more of an upmarket than the usual crowdfunding site like Kickstarter and Indiegogo, where you can actually invest in small startup companies. Like I said, I really need to look into both of these companies a little bit more before I give too much praise, but on the outset, any company that helps put more money behind decent indie titles is nothing but okay in my book. I'm one of those people that would rather spend big bucks on a smaller indie title than big AAA titles, as it's the kind of games that I prefer to play, and I really do feel like this is where the most amount of innovation is formed. In my opinion, this is nothing but a good thing. Republic have some serious clout behind them, and if they are able to push indie game developers and the Intellivision AMICO even further, then hey, again, sign me up. This is a website I will be keeping a close eye on from here on out. Right, so in some rather sad news that not only affects Kickstarter, but also Patreon too, you know, the whole stuff that's going on in the world right now has unsurprisingly seen a pretty heavy drop-off in people supporting stuff on both sites. And as a result, on April 21st, in a Verge article, it explains that 13% of Patreon staff have been laid off, and Kickstarter has seen a 13% drop-off too of new projects being funded, and they are also looking into possible layoffs too. There really isn't much more of a story to this particular thing right here. It's something that's happening all around the world, obviously not just on Patreon and Kickstarter. It's probably happening to you, it's happening to me. Yeah, it's just something that hopefully within the next couple of Kickscammer news segments over the next couple of months, hopefully it will all start to pick up again. First-person shooter fans rejoice, because the ultimate first-person shooter is here, and it's only going to cost you $1 to back to get completely funded. This is absolutely terrible. Stealing assets from Goldeneye, Duke Nukem, Halo, Overwatch, Counter-Strike, FPS Ultimate is a compilation class shooter inspired by the best shooter characters and maps of all time. In other words, if assets are available, this guy will steal them. Still, it's nice to see that my pledge was all that was needed to fund the entire project. And finally, for my recommendations of the month, I've actually got two recommendations for you this month. The first one is the incredible They Live Assault on Cable 5, which is a Kickstarter, a very successful Kickstarter, based on the movie of the same name by John Carpenter, and it looks absolutely stunning. 100% licensed and brilliantly well funded, this narrative-driven board game has a very cool mechanic that actually involves you wearing glasses to see the evil enemies, as well as a few other bits in the game too. It really is the perfect way to show homage to the excellent original story, and I for one am very excited for it. As stated, it has finished now. Sadly, I wasn't able to get this video out in time, but you can still chuck down a late pledge if this is of interest to you. And for my second recommendation, I've got to be giving a massive shout out to Bossman Books' brilliant new campaign. If you know me, you know I'm a huge fan of video game related books, and this is for season 5 of Bossman Books titles based on games such as Majora's Mask, Red Dead Redemption, Resident Evil, Silent Hill 2 and Final Fantasy VI. I've shouted out about these guys several times in the past. They've always delivered and then some, so I've got no reason to believe that they would not do so this time. Highly rated, highly recommended and highly worth checking out for all you fans of gaming history, which I'm sure there's plenty of you on this channel. And yeah, there you go guys, that is my Kickscammer news roundup for the month of March and April on sites like Kickstarter and Indiegogo. I will start covering GoFundMe again soon. I just don't think now is the right time to do that. There's so much of that pandemic stuff over on that site at the moment, though yeah, I'm trying to steer clear in all honesty guys. Regardless as of what's going on the channel, I'm working on a brand new Kickscammers, and I'm working on the biggest complete history I have ever done. It's the game that was on my t-shirt for this video actually. Anyway guys, so excited to be showing all this off for you, so please do hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified as and when these new videos come up. If you want to help support the show, you can do so by going over to Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. In fact, if you're paying for a YouTube subscription, you may even be able to do so for free as a YouTube member. You'll have to check the link down below to see if you are eligible. And for now, well, I think that's enough for me, isn't it? Yes. This is DJ Slope signing out, and hopefully I'll see you all next time.